Hi guys, welcome to the next episode of the landscape painting. This is a project on canvas. I'm painting with acrylics, and this is a continuation of previous session. And this canvas is sized 40 inches high and 50 inches across. And I have a photographic reference of a beautiful fall scene in a park, like these really tall and skinny kind of darker trees with lots of orange and golden and yellow autumn themed color foliage. Just a really beautiful image, and I'm really inspired to turn it into a painting. So let's take a look at what is happening next. There's been a couple of layers, more than a couple of layers put on. If we examine this progress, there's some underpainting, there's some general information already blocked in. There are visible darker and lighter elements, and it is now time to really dig in to the mid-tone and lighter mid-tone information. Not too much of a light or highlight just yet. That's gonna come at the end. So the mid-tone and lighter mid-tone, but mainly the mid-tone, is where a lot of saturate, diverse in variety colors exist. So in order for my painting to have depth and richness and vivid, satisfying painterly quality, just for the sakes of this project, I want the painting to be really colorful and rich. And so I am mixing like at least 3, 4, 5 variants of yellows, or yellow orange, or like an ochre, like a light brown variety of yellow. And I'm mixing and I am placing these additions in as brush strokes into the area where the foliage is appearing. So I am finding where in the reference do patches of darker or lighter mid-tone live or exist, and I try to combine observation with inventiveness and with my personal experience to design these beautiful lighter and darker shapes of diverse, rich oranges, browns, reds, yellows. So this is what we're seeing me place on the canvas today. And what's involved? What else what am I prioritizing? It's important for me knowing how this works out. So to have variety of sizes, of different brush strokes. So not to make the entire painting with too similar of a method of a brush mark, but I would like to introduce variety it creates more dynamic rhythm. So maybe small kind of brush strokes of orangey yellow on an angle that kind of emphasizes the tree trunk beside it, or a darker element beside it. Then I will think again, and I will paint a larger set of brush strokes that are diverse in shape and diverse in angle, on which angle they're sitting. And I am building this surface that's composed of these larger, mid-size and smaller brush strokes, and they're interacting to produce this dynamic movement visually. So it's not all moving in one direction, the surface quality, but there is it's a little bit like, painting sometimes is compared to a sound or music. It's not the same, and it's not always a good way to compare or analyze a painting, but rhythmic movement of diverse angles creates a rich and engaging visual surface. So it is possible to be immersed and moved as a viewer by the richness and the movement embedded by the artist within the surface of the painting. Not all paintings are constructed in this way, but for the kind of painting I'm doing, which is I would describe this painting, like style or direction in painting, as like a neo-impressionism. So it's like it is an impression of a scene in nature, but it's also an impression of a mood of a time of the year. So it's loaded with these kind of invented impressions, and the style is fairly loose and brush strokey, or you could see that it's not a photographic realism, or it's not a naturalist like realism. And so it does the closest relationship is with French Impressionism. Let's look at the work of Manet, Cézanne, Renoir, and so many others. Just three names came to mind quickly, but so I went off a little bit. But so I am building this moving, loosely painted, expressive and impressive surface. And expressive, it's like also like an expression, a human expression in art. So this is not a photograph. This is a product of human hand and human ability to mix, combine, paint, and express what they are wanting to express on canvas. So it is realism. We can see that there is a landscape there. It is expressive, expressionist. It is also a bit of an impressionist painting, and it's neo. It's like new, after the past. So it's like like a contemporary variation on expressionism and impressionism in landscape painting. And this is a personal take on a painting. So this is, this is mine, Maxim Grunin's attempt at constructing a painting. So let's go back to the process itself. I am constructing this mid-tone and lighter, like moving towards, there's already quite a bit of darks placed in, and it's holding, like, there's a mass, and we can see that now it's good time to start putting in some lighter information and progressively moving towards details and highlights very soon. So this layer will take a good chunk of time. It is nice to be able to really think about the richness and the variety of the colors that I am going to be introducing, and then go ahead and mix them and mix and match and attempt to resolve and land paint in a way that's satisfying, and then correct the areas that need something more. You maybe, add more shadow in darker, deeper green patches, areas of the painting. Maybe bring in a deeper brown reds, maybe, etc. So lots of mixing is happening, and lots of trying and thinking and designing and creating these various shapes, clusters of leafy shapes, the elements that would represent the clusters of leaves. What angle are they moving at? How are they overlapping some of the trees in the foreground, in the midground? And then once some clues are obtained, some areas, they are starting to look more spot on, and they are inspiring, and I am getting a clue that, oh, okay, this is how I want to proceed. So then I would take more of that mode around, like with that orange that I went into the on the ground where the lighter areas are. I added quite a bit of that red orange there, it seemed. Yeah, so to harmonize, to balance the painting, to use colors on many areas of the painting, to give energy, to give attention to many overall area of the painting. And when I place the lighter patches, I often I think, okay, how can I incorporate the darker existing coat of paint? And I leave some of it to sit under, so I'm placing lighter patches over top of the darker patches that already exist. And I'm letting them to act as shadow, deep depth areas under the lighter mass. And what else? I am tempted to start using a palette knife on some of these big colorful areas, and if I will make a next video and I will show you the palette knife action. I am really liking the way the work is progressing. I am enjoying the fact that I am not being like stuck on any area and fixing and reworking and not knowing which way to go. Everything is really moving kind of organically and kind of lively for me with this project, so this is great. And even if it wasn't great, that would be that would be okay too, because there is nothing that we cannot fix and improve on with the peaceful and inspired and intelligent mindset and a wholehearted approach. So yeah, I'm just following the path of what makes my heart sing. I am doing something that brings joy and meaning, and it's quite therapeutic for me to puddle around with art supplies and create paintings. Yeah. And I think that's it for this segment. And I look forward to your feedback and questions. And wishing everyone lots of safety, inspiration, and love, and good food. What a great thing to have clean air, food, and clean water. Thanks, guys. See you next time.